Okay, go ahead.
Okay. All right, so we're going to get started. And we're going to be handing out a lot of free stuff and also handing out stuff for you to taste. Boy, like that. I'm not used to microphones in the garden.
I tried it.
So the first thing we're going to do is we have a whole bunch of these bags of Swiss chard seed, and this particular chard is a green with the red ribs in it, and I'm going to pass them around. You guys can take one. If you're like, man, I wish I could have more, the plant is still out in the garden, and it's going to get pulled out after this event is over, but you are welcome to go out there. It's the only thing in the bed. It's dead. It's full of seeds. You can pull as many as you want and cram them into your pockets or into the bag, whatever. So I'm going to hand these to Terry, and she is going to make sure anybody who wants those gets them. And the second thing, and I'm not rushing Terry, but I'm going to tell you what we're going to do. We have a little container that she's going to pass around to you guys that has toothpicks in it. If you've already gone through the tasting tables, you're used to toothpicks. And we're going to have you take 2 of them if you're interested in trying the 2 dishes that we have, or the 2 preparations that we have. One of them is a squash that has been grilled, and the other one is okra that has also been grilled. And then we are also going to do sun-dried tomatoes that we'll talk a little bit about it, but we dried them in the greenhouse. We've turned the greenhouse into a dehydrator. And so the sun-dried tomatoes are very chewy. Pardon me while the husband fixes me.
Good man.
And so what we're going to do with the sun-dried tomatoes later on is we're going to put them in warm olive oil and let them simmer until they've softened, and then they're going to get packed in jars and put in the refrigerator. So if you've got good teeth and you want to chew on something that's like beef jerky, but it's tomatoes, we're going to have just little picker-upper things, because you obviously can't stick a toothpick in them. So Terry, if you can let the toothpicks go around, and people can just take 2 toothpicks for the squash and the okra. And if you're like, ooh, I hate okra, and you don't want to take 2 toothpicks, that's fine. But if you're adventurous, I didn't bring them raw, so I wasn't 100% asking you to be adventurous, but the okra that we're growing is amazing raw. So if you're into growing okra, are you messing me up? This isn't distracting.
He's fixing it. It's okay.
Enjoy it while you can.
Yeah. Check. I can hear it's on. It's just not coming through. Check 1, 2. Check. We've been together since 2nd grade. No, really, we haven't.
No, she's not lying.
He didn't ask me to marry him till 8th grade, so, But anyway, okay, so the next thing we're going to do before we start sampling the food is I'm going to name off seeds that I have that I've only got a few seed packets from, and they're from seeds this year, and they're things that we don't sell, because we just sell in the seeds, we sell tomatoes, peppers, and eggplants. So the only way to get these is to come to a garden talk. And we just grow them to have them out in the garden and then to pass on to people. So the first one, let me do, and so I'm going to say who wants, and I'll tell you what it is, and then Terry's going to pick people to give them to, okay? So the first one is arugula, okay? So I have 5 packets of arugula. So if you want arugula, put your hand up. And the arugula will be going in the garden soon.
What month?
September you know, it's always going to be, if you look under one of my trees under there, I've got arugula growing wild from where I was harvesting the seeds. I mean, it just all came up. It should not be growing right now, but it's in full shade. It doesn't like the heat, but for some reason it has not bolted yet. And so we've been eating arugula in the summertime. But it's a winter crop, and so usually if you put it in too early, like in September, it may come up immediately, but then if we don't cool down like we're supposed to, then it'll just shoot a seed head up and you'll be done with it, and then you'll just have to plant it again. But so like you can constantly be putting arugula in throughout the fall. Once it comes up, once it germinates in the fall, it'll grow all winter long. If we get a really cold snap and you try to plant it, it's not going to germinate until it warms up a little bit. But once it germinates and comes up, it's good to go, and it'll keep growing all winter.
Just plant it in the soil?
Yeah. Sorry.
Hey, no questions until the end. Because I got a microphone.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
You are out of luck. It won't show up on the video.
She asked how deep. How do I say no to a May?
You just say, wait a minute, lady.
But here's a good thing, that if you're just getting into planting seeds, you're basically doubling the size of the seed when you put it in the ground. So arugula seeds are really tiny, so you want to go the size of the seed and go double that down. And so if it's a squash seed and it's that big, obviously it's got to go down further. So okay, the next one that it should be going into the ground around the same time as the arugula is cilantro. So cilantro, we got 5 packets there.
Who didn't get a packet last time? I'll go for those first.
It's great. Terry's going to be fair. Okay, the next one, this is the last one of them that I have that's going in the ground for winter crop, and this is Freckles lettuce, and it's a green leaf lettuce with little red speckles all over it. And it, lettuce is like a weed. It grows really quick, like arugula. And so Freckles lettuce.
And it won't get recalled.
It will not get recalled. Now, if you're using raw sewage in your garden, I can't help you there, but. Okay, my last 2, and these are the ones you guys are going to be tasting. The first one is the okra, and it's called Louisiana long pod okra, and it is the best okra we have ever grown. We are addicted to it. It gets huge. My seed okras are about this long and about that big around, and you can see them on the okra plants if you go out there. We harvest them. When they get any bigger than that, they start to get a little tough, but that is way bigger than most okras that you can harvest and still have them be edible. So we don't eat a lot of fried food, so we grill it mostly, and that's what you guys are going to be tasting. But if you've got the room to grow it and you love okra, the plants get over 6 feet tall. And probably about 4 feet wide. So they are really big, but you will not plant these until spring, like mid to late spring. Okay?
The gardener. Everybody loves okra. This is the valley.
That okra's mine.
That one. Oh, this, I can't wait. I can't
Okay,
wait.
this next one, I want no rude comments. You'll understand in a minute. So this is the zucchini, and it's called zucchini rampicante. Last year, if you were at my garden talk, we had you guys taste it roasted in the form of a butternut squash. But if you pick it when it's green and not when it's orange, so all summer long, you eat it like a zucchini. And so that's how we're going to have you guys taste it today, grilled. When it is green, it's obviously, like sometimes they're like this long and they're skinny, and you don't have to take the skin off, and you just treat them just like a zucchini. When they go past the point of being a summer squash, and now you're saving them to be a winter squash.
Oh my goodness. Oh, wow.
They're like this.
Beautiful. Oh.
And this one was actually the one I was saving to do seed, and it got so heavy it broke. Like the stem broke. So we'll be able to get some seed out of it, but if you look at our squash growing over there, the zucchinis, they're growing on the trellis that does this, and some of them are hanging down straight, so we still have a couple big ones that we'll leave on there, because when we harvest these, we want, for seed, we want them to be fully mature and orange. But when they get to the stage where the skin has turned orange, now it tastes like a butternut squash. And that's what we had people taste last year. And these will store, like we ate our last one, I think it was in March or April. So as long as you keep them in a cool, dark place, they'll store for a really long time over winter, as long as you let the skins turn orange, okay? So this is zucchini rampicante, and they will be planted next spring.
Go ahead.
You could even share your seed.
Okay, I can share.
Make sure you make a really strong trellis.
Yeah, last year we used the concrete wire to make our arch, and the whole thing collapsed because it was so heavy. So this year we used hog panel, and it's working much better. So last year at the tomato tasting, there was 2x4s in the middle of the arch holding the thing up because the squash gets so heavy. And we harvested probably 100 of them young over the summer, and then we harvested probably about 40 of them butternut squash size or readiness for winter after that. I also have one growing in the compost pile, which proves two things. Number one, compost is good for your plants, and when people ask, well, how much compost should I put in my garden beds? You can grow your crops in the compost. If it's fully composted and it smells like dirt and not ammonia or poop, then you can grow your crops in there, and the zucchini is proving it. It's absolutely huge. So yes, and are you guys selling yours again? So Triple H Youth Ranch right here in May, they have a forced air compost system that they can turn raw material into compost in 30 days. And then it cures for 30 days, and then they sell it. So if you are looking for real organic compost, please do not buy city compost. It is the worst stuff for your gardens in the world. You want real compost that does not have like everything that your neighbor threw in there that was diseased or had insects in it, or it doesn't get hot enough when the city does it to kill everything. And it usually is still smelling like ammonia and cooking when they give it to you. So theirs is cured.
It's 95% horse manure.
95% horse manure, which our whole garden runs on horse manure. So yeah. So it's great stuff. So Triple H Youth Ranch if you're looking for compost. Okay, these are the sun-dried tomatoes, and I'm going to give you this. This goes around with it if you want to take one. So over the spring, if you follow our Facebook page, you saw that we finished our greenhouse project. And it was a long process, over a year, to get our greenhouse built. And when it was all said and done, what do you do with a greenhouse in the Central Valley in the summertime? Because it's ridiculously hot in there and nothing will grow. But because it's ridiculously hot and nothing will grow, insects also don't want to be in there. And so we turned it into a dehydrator using solar fans to keep the air moving. And the exhaust fan is set at 150 degrees. And so when our thermostat reaches 150, it switches on the exhaust fan to cool it down just below 150, and then it goes back on again. So the sun-dried tomatoes and the peppers we just have started doing this year. Without it, we can easily get the greenhouse up to 180 degrees. And one of the things we learned pretty quickly is that the thermostat goes up to 180 degrees, but the little plastic thing that has what the temperature is does not go up to 180 degrees, and it will actually melt. And so that is now sitting on the outside of the greenhouse. You are welcome to go in there and look around. I'd hope to have some stuff drying and have it be 150 degrees in there so that you could feel what it's like to walk in an oven. But we just didn't have time to refill it afterwards. But if you have a greenhouse or you're thinking of getting one and you're like, I'm only going to get to use it for a couple months out of the year, this is how you can use it all summer long to preserve all your stuff. And if you want to preserve meat, you just have to get it up to 180 degrees. So if you want to make jerky, you can do it as long as it goes up to 180 degrees. Okay. So sun-dried tomatoes, has everybody got them? Okay. So the next one, I'll work you into weirdness slowly. So this is the zucchini rampicante that my magnificent husband grilled, and then we just cut it up. So you're going to use your toothpicks to take them out. And all we grilled them with is a little bit of basil olive oil and some Green Goddess dry seasoning from Trader Joe's. So that's it. And then the second one that's going to go around, and I'll talk a little bit before, actually I'll keep it covered. This is the okra. So when we found out about this Louisiana long pod, and one of the things that Baker Creek said is that it tastes really good raw. I was like, I've never eaten raw okra. I am so addicted to raw okra now that I have a hard time not eating it when I'm working in the garden and like eating all of it so that we don't have any to grill. So I had to plant 4 times as much this year as I did last year. Because it's so good. If you can get past the fact that yes, it is slimy. Okay, it's raw. So yes, it's slimy, but the flavor is so amazing and it's very tender. So, but the grilling, because we don't eat a lot of fried food, finding a way to use it when I don't have time to make gumbo or jambalaya, like we can do a big, huge batch of okra on the grill in just a matter of minutes. And because the pods are so big, we can cook a lot of okra. You know, they're not falling through the grates and whatnot. And we eat them like French fries. So we're just like taking the whole thing and doing this because they're just amazing. So when she gets back up here and this goes around, we'll do that. While I'm waiting for her to do that, what I'm going to talk about is if you guys have noticed that we're getting back up to speed of doing garlic. We started 4 years ago bringing it back. We had it on the old property, but then when we sold it, we had to stop because I didn't have any place to plant it to keep it going. But one of my staunch, like, I won't listen to anybody things is when they say you can't grow hardneck garlic in the Central Valley of California because it likes cold weather. And so here's the okra. Trade ya. I got you running around, huh? All right. So the difference with hardneck garlics. Oh, there you go. Got it. So in California, we grow softneck garlic because it's warm. California is warm, and hardnecks are for cold season growing. So people in colder climates grow hardnecks because the softnecks can't handle the cold. With the hardnecks, there are 2 really great things about hardnecks that you don't get with softnecks. One of them is hardnecks are a lot hotter and more intense flavor with than the softnecks. The other thing is that the hardnecks throw up a scape. So if you've ever lived on the East Coast or in cold climates, you'll like notice that restaurants get scapes at a certain time in the spring, and it's like a delicacy where they'll say like, we have mashed potatoes with garlic scapes, and it's a very small window that they're available and then they go away. So softnecks do not make a scape. I've been making these, like I'm like, guys, hang on just a little bit longer so I can show people what they look like, because normally they would, most of them are starting to rot, but this is what a scape looks like. And they have the consistency of asparagus with a very mild garlic flavor to them. And as soon as, so it comes up like this, as soon as it curls, you cut it off and you eat it. And they're phenomenal. You can also chop them up and freeze them so that you have them longer in the season. But this is the second great thing about hardnecks. Now, the one thing about hardnecks that's different to be able to grow them in our hot climate is they have to go into the refrigerator for at least a month before you plant them. So we're tricking them into thinking that they're in a cold climate. So we put them in a paper bag, we stick them in the refrigerator for a month. It can go up to 2 months. And they need to be planted. We put them in September in the fridge, and then anywhere from the beginning of October or middle of October till the beginning of December, you plant them. And then in the spring they'll come up and you'll get the scapes in late spring, and you cut those off, and then you wait until you get 2 or 3 leaves that are dead at the bottom, and then it's time to harvest them. And then you have to cure them by laying them out in the shade outside with good airflow, and it usually takes them about 3 to 4 weeks to completely dry out if you're going to store them. The other downside to hardnecks is they don't store as long as softnecks. So if you're growing both hards and softs, use your hardnecks first so that they don't go bad before it's time to, before they start to like shoot. And so we're right at that place right now. Like we're looking at our hardnecks. We've got them for sale. And ours are in a cool, dark closet. I'd love to have a root cellar, but I don't have one. So cool, dark closet is the best thing I can do. And then in September, I will put them all into the refrigerator. Softnecks do not go into the refrigerator. And then in October, we'll start getting them in the ground. So if you leave your garlics out where it's warm and they're getting sunlight, they're going to go bad faster, and you won't be able to get them into the ground before, at the time that they need to go into the ground. So, okay. We did the okra already, right? Okay. Well, you are good. So did you guys like it? Yeah. Cool stuff. Okay. So the last thing that I was going to talk about is just really quickly, and I'm probably talking pretty quick, but what time is it?
11:40.
Thank you, Seth. Is diseases in the garden. So if you're trying to do organic gardening like we are, obviously you can't just pull out a chemical and spray it whenever you have a problem. And so we're always experimenting with when someone says something works, we want to know if it actually works or if it works in our area with the plants that we're growing. So right now, if you have cucumbers in the ground, what is the #1 thing that's hitting your cucumbers?
Squash beetles.
Fungus that's hitting your cucumbers.
It's like a powdery mildew.
Powdery mildew, yeah. And it's fairly easy to control. It just organically, to control it, you have to constantly be treating for it. And the easiest way to treat it, I shouldn't say easiest, you usually have it on hand, is using milk. So there's an enzyme in milk that kills powdery mildew. And it's a 5% milk to 95% water mixed into a spray bottle and sprayed on your plants. Now you're going to have to do it every 3 to 4 days to keep the powdery mildew from taking over. So it's when you first start to get those little spots that you've got to hit it with it. If it gets a little bit worse, and you're like, wow, I was just out there 4 days ago and now the stuff has taken over. Make sure I get the right one. The next step up is this stuff. And this is Monterey disease control.
Yeah.
And it hits it hits all fungal diseases. And it has a little bit longer, like about a week residual on it, so you're not having to spray it quite as often. And it's 1 teaspoon to a gallon, so it's not like you're using a whole lot of it. And it's actually a bacterium that is killing the fungus. So the downside to the disease control is, #1, if your plants are already completely covered with fungus, probably isn't going to be enough to stop it. And the second thing is that when left in the spray bottle for, let's say, 2 weeks to a month, it starts to smell a bit. Doesn't hurt the plants, but as you're spraying it, and if you're downwind as you spray it, someone might notice that you smell a little ripe. So, so again, doesn't hurt anything, but it is a little bit stinky. And then the next step up from that is liquid copper. And oh wait, that's the wrong one. Liquid copper. So we use liquid cop, And we like this because when we're spraying our fruit trees in the winter, our dormant fruit trees, we can mix this with the horticulture oil, this one here, and this treats fire blight and on the fruit trees, on the apple and pear trees. It treats peach leaf curl, thank you very much, and it's general funguses. It will knock them down. You don't ever want to use horticulture oil when it's hot outside. It will burn your plants. So this is something that we use in the winter and when it's dormant. The liquid copper by itself, now the reason I use these two is because if you try to use an off brand of copper or a different brand of copper and mix it with this oil, they will not mix. But they make this so that these two will mix together, and you can put them in a hose-in sprayer and spray trees with it. Okay? So I keep the liquid cop on hand because if I get something where I can't control it with the other stuff, this has a longer residual, 2 weeks or more if it doesn't rain, for using like on the cucumbers and stuff like that. The downside to copper, it stains everything. It's a brightish, darkest blue, and get it on your hands and it'll probably be on your hands for a couple of weeks. And then also, if you're spraying it against your house, and your house doesn't happen to be blue, your house will then be blue. So, so it stains stuff. But it's a great way to really knock stuff off that has gotten a little too far down the line as far as control. And all of these are very concentrated, so even though the bottles are a little pricey, they last for a really long time. So, yes. Yes, they are. Oh,
no
sorry.
question.
No, that was a comment. She was letting us know that they're available at Morris Nursery, which is where we buy ours. Yeah. And all of our flowers that are flowering right now, we also got at Morris Nursery. So, thank you.
She's throwing it in there anyway, dude.
Okay. Safe soap. This is a horticultural soap. That again, you mix it with water and spray on plants for aphids, and you can spray it for whiteflies, but let's just be honest, the whiteflies don't stick around for you to spray them. And so yellow sticky traps actually are a really good way to keep your whitefly population down. They're drawn to the yellow, and you can get those at Morris Nursery too. And you can get this. I don't know if it's this brand though, because there's a lot of different horticultural soaps out there. But when we are doing our plant sales in the spring, there's a late spring where the aphids will start getting on our peppers, and we can literally go through and turn our pepper plants upside down and spray them and set them down, and it won't burn the plants, it won't like harm anything. And throughout the season, if we start to get a lot of aphids on our cucumbers or our squash plants or our okra plants, most of that we're trying to stop it by doing ant bait, because the aphids and the ants are symbiotic. So if we can keep the ants away from the plants, then we don't have as many aphids. But if we do start to see them, usually I'm seeing them at the end of the season. I'm like, nobody else wants my cucumbers. There's a point where people just start walking away from me when I'm coming out with cucumbers and going, take some more cucumbers. But if they're starting to take over and I want to knock them down, then this is great for aphids. Yeah, the soap. Any questions? Oh, wait. What? Okay, he's gonna get mad at me, because when someone is asking a question or making a comment, it doesn't show up on the video. You can't hear it on the video, and I'm really bad at repeating it. So if you can speak into the microphone so it ends up on the video. Go ahead.
Okay. What is the name of that stuff you were just holding up?
It's horticultural soap. This is called Safer Soap, the Safer brand. I probably have used 3 or 4 different, but it's just horticultural soap. Some people say like use Dawn dish soap, but Dawn dish soap has chemicals in it that if you're doing organics, you don't want to use that, and it's not nearly as effective. So just a horticultural soap.
Another question. You were talking about spraying the fruit trees with that mixture of the copper and the
Horticultural oil?
Right. And you do it when they're dormant?
They're dormant, yeah.
Would you just spray the whole tree, like all the limbs and everything?
And because they don't have any leaves on them, it's, you know, you think you're not really hitting them, except the copper's blue, so you could like see it dripping from the branches. But I have it on a hose-in sprayer, and I'm just out there doing this, walking around the tree, and the hose-in sprayer like goes up and gets on it. Wait, you have to have the microphone or you can't talk.
Come on, people.
I was just going to add, if you're trying to treat for fire blight, it's best sprayed on the actual flowers because the fire blight is spread through infected pollen.
Thank you. Yes, and often, and we do it 3 times: Thanksgiving, Christmas, and Valentine's Day.
Yeah. Thanksgiving, Christmas, and Valentine's Day is excellent for doing your dormant sprays because they're nice and evenly spaced out those holidays, so it's fairly easy to remember. And you're usually treating for like peach leaf curl at that time. You can also help take care of any other diseases and insects that happen to be on your fruit trees. You can also spray your citrus at the same time using the same mixture because it also helps with the sooty mold that can happen on citrus. But for to go back to the fire blight, you want to spray your peaches and your apples when about half of your blooms are open. You want to spray with the copper fungicide. It can affect the bees, I will add that, but it's the only thing that will treat the fire blight, and you have to spray it when they're blooming. So you do it when the first half of the blooms are open, and then you spray again when the second half of the blooms are open. So usually pears and apples are going to be blooming in the early spring.
Thank you. Morris Nursery.
I was going to say, does she work at Morris Nursery?
Yes. Okay, any other questions? Wow, you guys are easy. Oh, right here? Challenge me.
I have a cherry tree, a hybrid. Will it work on that as well?
Well, what would you be treating for?
Sometimes the flowers fall off. They look like they're not doing well.
Do you have something for that? Because the only thing I treat our cherries for is borers so far. And I'm not an expert on our fruit trees until something happens. And then I'm like, well, dang it. Now I got to figure out how to do this. So.
Are your blossoms just falling off?
Your blossoms are just falling off without developing the fruit and everything. And has it been happening for a few years? So the nice thing about cherries, and it is a thing that is often forgotten about, is they have a requirement for how many chill hours they need in order to actually produce fruit. So especially the last couple of winters that we've been having, we haven't really been getting a whole lot of chill hours, so a lot of people who've been growing cherries specifically have not been getting great harvests off of them. So hopefully we will get enough chill hours this year, and we will be able to see a nice increase in cherry production. But normally cherries require between 700 and 900 minimum chill hours, while like peaches, nectarines, stuff like that only require between 400 and 600. That's why they still produce. There is a new variety of cherry developed by Zager Genetics outside of Modesto, and then produced by Dave Wilson. It is called Royal Crimson, and it only requires 200 chill hours. So, and it is self-fertile, so you do not require a secondary tree to cross-pollinate with it.
Thank you.
Yay to Morris Nursery.
Yay to Morris Nursery. Oh, okay. Let's talk. Okay, anything else? All right. Well, thank you guys. That's what I had for today. Enjoy the rest of the day.